Hi everyone, welcome to another video about writing skills. This time we're going to look at fused sentences, sometimes also called run-ons. I personally prefer the word fused sentence because it's more descriptive and matches what the problem is. Run-on sometimes is used incorrectly to mean verbose writing that just keeps going on, which is a different kind of problem, but not a true fused sentence. So it's about keeping your sentences separated or punctuating them correctly if you want to join them together. So what then is a fused sentence? Well, it's two complete sentences that are connected without punctuation or a conjunction. So they're just stuck together, basically. Okay, so you have two complete sentences. You want to join them together, but instead of doing the proper comma and conjunction, they're just stuck together, okay? So that's what a fused sentence is. They're literally fused together. You know, they're just stuck together, but not with any proper punctuation or conjunction in there. So it's similar to a comma splice. The only difference is the comma splice has the comma in between the two sentences, where a fused sentence has nothing at all. So it can be really hard to find where one sentence ends and the other begins. So, but very close to a comma splice, and they're fixed almost in the same way, okay? So they're easy to fix because really all you have to do is make sure you add that comma and coordinating conjunction or separate the two, okay? So let's look at some examples. I can't work on Tuesday, that's why I can't go. So there's actually two sentences there. I always work on Tuesdays. That's a complete sentence. That's why I can't go. That's also a complete sentence. So you need something there. You either need to separate it and put a period after Tuesdays, or you could even put a semicolon. You can do that in rare instances. Or you could put something like comma, so that's why I can't go. Okay? But either way, however you choose to correct it, you need something in between them to make it a legitimate connection. Okay? Here's another example. Van Gogh is famous for having cut off his ear. His paintings reflect his mental state. So you have two complete sentences. Van Gogh is famous for having cut off his ear. That's a complete sentence. His paintings reflect his mental state. That's a complete sentence. So we've got to have something to join those two properly rather than simply sticking them together as they are here. Here's another one. It was 4 a.m. when the alarm rang. I had no idea what to do. So it was 4 a.m. when the alarm rang. That's complete. And then you have another complete sentence. I had no idea what to do. So they can't be just stuck together. You've got to find a proper way of joining them together. And finally, another example. Jane owns her own catering business. That's a complete sentence. But then it goes straight into another sentence without any proper punctuation or capitalization. It specializes in fancy weddings. That's a complete sentence. Okay, so we have to somehow join these together properly. So let's look at how you do that. First of all, you can separate the clauses. In other words, make them two sentences. So if the fused sentence is, I always work on Tuesdays, that's why I can't go, you can have two sentences. I always work on Tuesdays, period. Capital, that's why I can't go, period. So that's always acceptable. Of course, if you have a bunch of short, choppy sentences like that, maybe it's better to combine them in some way. And that's where you add the conjunction. So in this sentence, Van Gogh is famous for having cut off his ear. His paintings reflect his mental state. We could add a comma and an and in between the two. So it reads, Van Gogh is famous for having cut off his ear, comma, and his paintings reflect his mental state. Okay? That's a fine way to join them together. You can also make one side of the clause dependent. So in other words, one of those complete sentences could be revised to make it dependent on the other one in some way. So in the sentence, it was 4 a.m. when the alarm rang. I had no idea what to do. Those two sentences that are stuck together, you can make the first one dependent by adding a because or some other word like that that makes the clause dependent. Okay? So it would read, because it was 4 a.m. when the alarm rang, comma, I had no idea what to do, period. Okay? So you can make one side dependent. Also, in rare circumstances, you can use a semicolon. You only want to use those very rarely, only when it's really closely related information. You really don't want to put a conjunction in between. Okay, so here's the few sentence. Jane owns her own catering business. It specializes in fancy weddings. You could put a colon to join those together. So Jane owns her own catering business, semicolon. It specializes in fancy weddings. Okay, so that's correct. But as I said, remember to use those sparingly and only when you really want to have the information connected together because of the content. So I hope that helped you understand what a fused sentence is and how to correct it. If you want more help with that, there is information in the Yavapai College Rough Riders Guide in Section 9, Chapter 38. And you can also get help from a tutor in the Learning Center. They can sit down and help you pick those out of your own writing. That's always the best way to learn in the context of your own writing. And you can also contact your instructor. You can email them for help, him or her for help, or you can go by their office hours, maybe bring a piece of your writing, and he or she can help you figure out how to get rid of those in your writing. Okay, so thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next writing skill video. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.